All right, let's talk about the difference between taking portraits versus capturing moments. And as a family photographer, how you're going to be able to develop the craft, the skill of actually capturing moments. I'm not the person to teach you about taking portraits. So what's the difference? At least in my perspective, and I'm Shamini. I'm a family portrait photographer in Seattle. My company's called the Happy Film Company. And when you see our photos, there may be one or two where everyone is smiling at the camera, a portrait, but those are not my favorites. Those are kind of, I just include them because most people want them for some reason, because we want to see our faces. We want to see what we look like, right? I feel really wiggly. In this blog post that I've written, you can read it on my blog, I've explained that there are great portraits. People like Annie Leibovitz, one of the most famous portrait photographers in the world, creates an art piece where you look at it and you're like, holy shit, that is like, what a portrait of a person. It somehow captures who they are, what their life story is, something that they've done in their life. It's kind of surreal. It's kind of profound, like it's art. It's fine art, almost like someone painted it. You look at it and you're emotionally moved, like someone has captured a person's soul. That is a great portrait. That requires set design, planning, forethought of what are we going to do? What props are we going to use? What outfits are we going to use to tell this person's story? Or what kind of environment are we going to set up so that they sit there and they totally emote who they are? Great portrait photography. Now, that's not the realm I play in at all. I don't want to spend the time doing that. I am much more excited about showing up outside in a beautiful location and playing and exploring, and whatever happens in that moment, that's just the natural blossoming of expression, the way people look at each other, the look that crosses over someone's face when they see something for the first time, like that is what I find really cool. So my style is more like being a hunter or a sniper, someone who kind of sits back and you observe everything. And then you're really quick and you're like, I got it, I captured it. I'm not the planner, right? So you might be one of the other. You might be a portrait photographer who loves the detail and the planning, or you might be more of the shooter, the hunter that's like all about the quick moment and you're not planning. You're anticipating, but you're not planning. I mean, on that note, like, yeah, sure, we might do a little bit of planning. Like, I might plan the route that we're going to walk, but I can't plan someone else's reactions. So that's what you have to anticipate. You have to know, when I plan that we're going to walk down this path, I'm going to anticipate that at some moment these children might see some cool wildlife that makes their faces light up. Maybe not. I have to be ready. So that's those are the two things that I think can be done really well. What happens that's kind of shitty is when you stick in the middle and you go out and you're in the world and you're just like taking snapshots of a family in the moment, but you're setting it up like a portrait. Like you're having them stand there together and pose and look at the camera as if it's a beautiful portrait, except there's been no intention into the outfits or why that background, like why that pose. Is there a significance to it? Or did you just have everyone like cram together and smile at the camera? Nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's fine. It's a snapshot if you're doing that. It's a group snapshot, a group portrait, but it's not great. It's just kind of mediocre, right? So I'm interested in what's going to make us great as family photographers. You can be a family portrait photographer, or as this whole blog post talks about, we can be family like moment photographers or masters of what I call the fleeting moment. And, you know, when you're behind the camera, it's kind of like you're a fly, you're an insect, you're a creature that moves so much faster than everything else that the world around you is slower. You see details that other people are missing. So you pick up your camera and you see like 500 emotions cross people's faces, and then you choose which ones you're gonna capture. You're juggling a lot of things. While there's people's expressions going on, there's also like clothing flying in the air because the wind is blowing. There's strangers walking past because you're on a street. There's cars driving behind because you're on an actual street. The sunlight is changing. Like there's so many things happening. So often the portrait photographers are in a more of a controlled environment. You might be in a studio. You might be in a house. It's pretty quiet. The moment photographers, we're out in a moment, like a moment of life. Things are crazy and happening quickly. I describe this as walking into a moving scene. It's often fast and chaotic, and children are wiggling while you're balancing on the curb, and your skirt's flying up in the air, and there's a bus about to hit you from behind. Like that is what I do. Now, what's cool about that, I mentioned the bug because other people don't notice. Like, as far as the family's concerned, they're just standing there on the sidewalk talking, and I've taken a whole bunch of moments captured, and they'll look at me and be like, are we ready to take some photos? Or like, should we pose? And I'm like, oh no, I'm done already. Like, they didn't even realize they were being photographed, and that's kind of fun. Side note, that can make people worry a little bit. You don't want people to be awkward and be like, is she taking our photo? It's not like that. It's like, I don't have them standing there awkwardly. That's punishment. I would have my families, like, we're talking, we're engaging, we're like watching things in the world as I'm taking photos. They don't necessarily know that I'm taking photos while we're engaging. And so usually once I've gotten all those candid photos that I want, then I would say to them, hey, can you guys look at the camera real quick? And I take one of those snapshots of the group. And I do that mainly for them. It's kind of just a nice way for them to have peace of mind, like, okay, we got the photo. They don't realize that was one photo and there was like a bunch of other ones that are way better. But I want them to know that photos are being taken because, they need that peace of mind. So if you're a photographer who wants to learn how to capture the moment, it's going to require speed. Like, you have to be able to see it and catch it quickly because it goes real fast. It happens really fast. And also you have to have people giving you something to photograph. It's one of the most uncomfortable, awkward things when I'm photographing a family and they're not expressive. Like, they just want to stand there kind of together and they just smile at the camera. And I'm like, oh God, this is so painful. I have to come up with ideas to get them to do something. Like, I'll give them instructions, like, throw your kid in the air. And they'll be like, oh, our kid doesn't want to go in the air. And I'm like, okay. Tickle your child. And they're like, oh, he doesn't like to be tickled. And then I'm like, oh, shit. Like, these are my tools. Like, I play. So if I find myself at those photo shoots, it's really, really hard for me. But what I learned from those shoots is like, okay, all the commands and the like crazy chaotic energy isn't going to get us anywhere. What this family wants to do is chill. Like, they just want to sit there. So I don't have to have them smile at the camera, but I can say to them something that is in their comfort zone. Like, I'm not going to talk to you guys for a few minutes. I'm going to wander around and take photos from different angles. While I'm wandering around, you guys just sit here and enjoy the view. Feel free to talk to each other. Feel free to cuddle in close. Give each other a kiss if you feel like it. That kind of instruction gives families, they know what to do then. They can have some peace of mind. And they're not being pushed to do playful, high-energy things that they don't want to do. I learned from those families how to step back and give space so that whatever they feel like doing in that moment can happen. Now, you can bring that lesson back to all families, even the playful one. Can you become a person that knows how to communicate really clearly and have your own energy be really calm and soothing and accepting so that however the family feels that day, whether they want to spin their kids in the air or whether they just want to sit there quietly and cuddle, or, I mean, who knows, maybe they actually just want to smile at the camera the whole time. Can I be a person that is so secure in myself, confident in what I'm doing, that my own insecurities are not going to ruin this photo shoot? Like, if the family's genuinely okay sitting there and smiling, it's my fault if I'm like, what are they thinking? Why is this so awkward? Why are they looking at me? Should I take more photos? Should I tell them to do something else? Like, is this a bad photo shoot? Blah, 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 blah. Stress head. Bad photos. Bad time. If you find yourself having that reaction, like you're thinking about your whole photo shoot and you're worried about how it's turning out, or you're worried about what the family is thinking or feeling, that you're not in that moment with that family. You are not sharing a beautiful moment of your lives and capturing it. You are essentially having a meltdown and taking photos at the same time, and hopefully you're not stressing them out or making them feel uncomfortable or awkward. That kind of situation is probably where people get this impression that getting photographed is awkward. They're like, oh, I hate the camera. It's like, well, you probably have never been photographed by an amazing photographer. It's kind of like saying you hate having your blood drawn. It doesn't hurt to have your blood drawn if it's done really well. I have had my blood drawn by a doctor who's so good at it that I don't even feel the needle. So by contrast, now I'm like, I don't care having my blood drawn, but only by people that are good. So in the same way, become a photographer that people can say it didn't even hurt. In fact, it was fun. We had a fun conversation while it happened. I'm going to read out what I wrote here. For photographers wondering how to master the moments of photography, you will not learn much from YouTube or even from workshops. Your work is going to be done inside of yourself. This applies to the parents as well, actually, but not so much to the children, because the children already know what they're doing. The learning that must be done to become a photographer of fleeting moments is an unlearning of the social insecurities, distracting thoughts, self-imposed expectations that we've collected on our way to becoming adults. To point a camera at someone's face and expect them to act natural is ridiculous. You must become a person with whom other people feel natural. They relax in your presence because you are in the present moment first. They feel free to talk and joke, adjust, explore, because you patiently let them. You're not interrupting their way of being with unnecessary words. When you do speak, you're simple and you're direct, so there's no confusion. You don't just keep saying, cute, cute, oh, that's so cute, oh my God, you guys are so cute. Like, when you keep saying cute like that, that is like a giveaway that you are in your head because you're not thinking about the words that are coming out of your mouth. When you're actually, you know what I'm talking about? It's like when someone's like, hey, how are you? How was your weekend? And you're like, oh, it was great. I celebrated my birthday. And then you're like, oh my God, that's so great that you got to celebrate your birthday. And you're just like, what the fuck? Like, that's not even a real conversation compared to someone saying, what did you do this weekend? And you're like, oh, I celebrated my birthday. And you're like, oh, happy birthday. How did you celebrate? And they say, I had a party. And you're like, oh, that's exciting. What kind of thing did you do for your party? Like, it's actually like going slower. Usually your voice will drop to a lower octave. You're going to make more eye contact and you're going to dig into the subject rather than just having like reactionary words. Oh my God, birthdays are the best. Our birthday is the best. Did you have a great time? I'm so happy you celebrated your birthday. Like, why did you say all those words? I just heard this in the office today, which is why I'm mocking it. But that's one of the biggest lessons I've learned from photography, and I've learned it from yoga. The example from yoga is that you can be teaching a yoga class, and I can look out at a room full of people, and I can close my eyes, and I can say, lift your right leg higher and reach through your toes, because it's like motivational. Versus actually looking at the people in the room, and maybe every person in that room already has their leg plenty high, and their toes are already pointed. So maybe that is really irrelevant. I mean, I could still say it. It could still give them an idea. But maybe there's something else that I could say that would be more useful. Same with photo shoots. I can say, you're cute, you're cute, you're cute, you're cute. And they're just going to be like, okay, like she's telling us we're cute. What if instead I actually like slowed down, was present, looked at the family, and said something that actually gave them a gift, gave them a moment, made them laugh, made them relax. Like a real compliment. Like, oh my goodness, your fur coats look amazing right now. Or when you guys look at each other and laugh, that is so fun for me to photograph. that kind of statement is so genuine and deep. Like, if they're feeling uncomfortable in front of the camera and you say cute, it's just kind of feeding into this mindset of like, oh, we're good looking, versus tapping into a deeper value and connection with them. Like, you tell them, I'm a person taking photos, and what you're doing is making me feel comfortable. You're making me have a good time. I'm having a good time right now. Things are going well. What you're doing is really beautiful. These photos are really capturing your personality. Like, I'll say those like real words because I want them to hear that message, and I want the two of us, as the family and me as the photographer, to actually bond. We are in this moment together, and I am actually seeing them, and I am actually saying something to them that will mean something to them. That's my goal anyway. I don't succeed at it 100% of the time. I catch myself all the time being like, oh my God, that's so cute. That is like the problem of photographers here these days. We say cute. But it's nice to have the intention to work beyond that. Okay, and then the same exact thing goes for parents. The quality of the photos that you get when you come into your photo shoot and you are thinking, does this look cute? Are our outfits like this? Are there wrinkles? Oh, don't let her get in the puddle. Or everyone, you need to be smiling. You need to be smiling. Like when a parent is controlling like that, the photos are so stiff, so uncomfortable, and it's uncomfortable for me. It's very difficult for me to bond with those families because there's this wall of expectations and what they're trying to accomplish versus us just hanging out. Because I'm there being like, you guys want to go play? And they're like putting on, it's like talking to someone and they're on their phone. I'm trying to hang out with you in the field and take photos of you guys playing, and you keep fiddling with something. Like, you're not fiddling with your phone, you're fiddling with your clothing, or you're fiddling with something. But if you as the parent can learn from your child, because the child's going to be in that beautiful present moment, if we can all show up at the field or the park or the city street, wherever we're going for the photos, and all of us are like, okay, for the next hour, we're going to be in the zone. We're going to be in the moment. We're going to be looking for the coolest things that we want to climb on and the coolest statues we want to sit in front of and stare at, and like, we're going to look for animals that we can chase, and like, not in a mean way, just like, birds at the beach or whatever. Or we're going to find the most beautiful rocks. Like, actually go play outside. Then that's a real moment that we get to share. And the families that I can do that with, I have such a nice time with, because I go home and I'm like, wow, I loved my job. I just got to play at the beach for an hour, pick up pretty stones, look at a pretty view. So yeah, that's the gift that we can give each other as adults. It's like, I'm going to do that for you. You do that for me. The kids, that's one of the reasons I let kids lead the way. I say that all the time, because as adults, we're like, okay, we got an hour. We have things to do today. And the kid's like, yay, we're at the park. Like, can we get into that mindset? I feel like I may have just said the same thing, like on repeat, but that's really the point I'm making is, I hope it helps somebody. I hope it helps you prepare for your photo shoot if you're a photographer or a parent. And the blog post that I wrote this on is accompanied by photographs that I've taken of Militia and her family. Militia's a friend of mine. She's a personal stylist. She works with women in Seattle. And her company is called Poplin Style. And you'll see in these photos, if you check it out, her style is on point. Her family looks so good. They always do. And she is here to help you. She sends out newsletters about fashion, where to get great deals, and it's not just like what's in trend. She actually, kind of like what I'm talking about with what I do in my work, she's here to like bring people into feeling good and being present in their lives, and using fashion and the clothing you wear and the way you present yourself as the entry point. So check out her photos, check out her out, go to her website, poplin.com, poplinstyle.com, tell her I sent you, and then she can help you choose out like the coolest outfits and things that are gonna make you feel great when you come to me for photos. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Again, my name is Shamini. company is the Happy Film Company, and we photograph kids and their families in Seattle.